as I stand here right now and look out at the horses and the llamas and so forth, I can't get over how beautiful it is. So as you bring kids out here, tell me what kinds of kids, and I'm assuming they're not just Douglas County kids, but what kind of kids come to the ranch, the Happy Dog Ranch?
Yeah, well, primarily it is Douglas County kids that come here. And these kids are coming because some of them have anxiety, depression, some of them have suicidal ideation. And they're kids that looking at them walking down the street, you would never know that. You would see kids that seem happy. They're from a county that's primarily wealthy, educated, strong family ties. But we've discovered after doing this since 2017 that a lot of these kids are struggling. And so we love bringing them out here to the ranch, getting them with these animals, having them put down their phones, and learning to be present. And these animals are a great way to teach them to be present. These kids that carry around crap inside of them, the emotional crap, whether it's anxiety, depression, they're being bullied, having a hard time at home. If these animals can teach them to be present and let go of that, that's when the switch happens.
So talk to me about what the Aspen Effect is. Obviously, this is a ranch, and this is, as you explained it to me, these are good people who are doing good work for horses and for obviously many different kinds of animals. But what is the Aspen Effect? If you can tell me in just 2 sentences, what is it?
Yeah, the Aspen Effect, we have a mission to strengthen youth resilience, to prevent crisis, specifically with mental health and substance use.
And that to me seems like such a challenge nowadays, and parents, I think they're terrified. When I was at the Capitol and now with the opioid abatement council that I'm on, I find parents are just petrified with fentanyl, with all the new drugs, and everything's laced. Parents just don't know what their kids are involved in. So how do you make that bridge happen? How does an organization like this and a nonprofit like this, how do you make that bridge with parents to help them at a time that's really uncertain with all the kinds of drugs and mental illness and challenges that are out there?
Yeah. Well, when we look at resilience, we look at 4 things. We look at being grounded, being connected, being protected, and being nurtured. And the question you just asked me is really around being protected. And so the way we make that connection with the kids is that it's the way we talk about it is what do the animals teach you? And if you see a horse suddenly move away from you because he's afraid, he's just protecting himself. He's wired to do that. So it gives us an opportunity to talk about that. We're piloting a summer camp just in a couple of weeks where it's pretty unique. We're going to get parents and youth together. So it's a summer camp for a parent and a youth. And they're going to get together and they're going to experience those 4 elements of resilience. But the experience is going to be being taught by animals. What do they teach you? How do we get connected? How do we protect ourselves? And so the more we've done this work, the more we realized we need to get parents involved. A lot of times that's the missing party, because these kids can have all this great experience at the ranch and then they go home and it was a memory. But if we can get the parents here while Johnny's being mentored, the mom is here, we can give her some experience, then they can take those joint experiences home together and perhaps change what's happening at home and reinforce the things that they learn here.
And I'm not telling you anything you don't know, but there's a third element in this equation. Not only do you have the animals and you have the kids, I guess 4, you have the parents, but you also have mentors. And you bring people in. I know a couple that are part of the Douglas County Sheriff's Department that have given their time, and that also is very rewarding. So talk to me about the mentor program. How important is that into the mission of what you're doing? Not just the animals, not just the kids, not just the parents, but the mentors. Tell me who they are and why do they get involved?
Yeah, great question. We have over 70 mentors that have been with us since we started. And I would say every mentor I've talked to, they walk away from this experience saying, I got as much out of this as the kid did.
Wow.
And what we teach the youth when they walk onto this beautiful Happy Dog Ranch, we teach them right away, serve someone. Get outside of your head and serve someone. And that could be a goat, or it could be sweeping out the barn. But what that does, and we all know this as adults, it gets us outside of our heads, out of that crazy place in our heads, and it feeds our hearts. And that's exactly what happens for mentors. They come here once a week, spend an hour with the youth, and that's generally for 12 weeks. And they have that experience over and over. And on the flip side, the youth is being given this really strong message that, man, I'm having a really fun time at the ranch, but he keeps looking over and seeing this adult that keeps showing up for him. He can't avoid the strong message that I matter, I am valued. And so it's just this really symbiotic relationship that works.
I got to say, when you mentioned that, and again, I grew up with a very religious set of grandparents, it sounds like you're talking about faith to me. It sounds like going to church. You talk about feeding the heart, feeding the spirit, being outside of yourself and helping somebody. And that is so Coloradan to me. There's nothing just more Colorado than that. Coming out and hang out in the mountains.
This is the church.
I mean, it really is. I mean, it's the outdoors. Very Douglas County. Very Douglas County. Talk to me about, and I hate to bring the room down, but what's been the case that sticks with you? As I've talked to people that have mentored children or dealt in law enforcement or counseling, there's always that one case, that one child or one individual that they met that was the one that sticks with them, that either they helped or maybe they couldn't help. What's the one child that came through the doors here that either was the great success or the great failure that you still keep with you, maybe keeps driving you? What's that one?
Well, you're inviting me to be vulnerable.
Okay.
I hope 8 months ago, I was talking with a mom on the phone, as I do with each of the youth. I screen them, but I also find out as much as I can about them to match them with an appropriate adult. But this mom started telling me about how her son is struggling because a friend of his jumped off of Castle Rock a couple of years ago and to his death.
Wow.
And I'd heard about that.
Yeah.
But as she talked, she mentioned this kid's name, and I suddenly realized that I knew this kid. He was in one of our programs.
Wow.
And at that moment, I realized that so many kids go under the radar. I think especially in this area, these kids look accomplished. They've got all the privileges in life, but they're going under the radar.
Right.
And if me, the owner of this Aspen Effect, which our whole purpose is to help kids in mental health, if I can experience that, I think we're all experiencing that. And that I felt my passion about what we do just amp up. I don't think there's anything more important than we can do on a macro level. We're investing in the youth of Douglas County and the future generation, but we're also taking one kid at a time and impacting a life.
Yeah, I can't think of anything that we value more than our children. And to take the time, take the money, the resources, and put them to something that has such impact, I think is of great value. And speaking of that, nonprofits are hurting in Colorado. You know it, I know it. The state's broke, and people need money, they need volunteers. How can people help you? How can they reach out? Or maybe they want to involve their kids in your program. How can people reach out to the Aspen Effect?
We are in a fundraising campaign right now. We've been blessed to have a couple of large grants over the last 3 years. So we went from here to here and be able to build our infrastructure, all the things that help us to serve the kids here at this ranch. But we are in a fundraising campaign trying to find people that can be donors, can be mentors as well, people that are truly invested in what we do and see the value of these kids. So we'll be doing that through Colorado Gives.
Okay.
Anybody that's really a part of us, they think of being a part of the family. We're kind of a family here, and so we
And I'll
really
put the
love
website
it.
up right here. Jerry, thank you so much. I
Thank
appreciate your
you.
time, and thank you for showing us this beautiful ranch. And I'm going to see you in front of the abatement council here pretty soon. Maybe we'll get you some extra dollars there as well.
Cool.
So thank you
Thanks.
very much. Thank you, guys.